The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you, all on This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on your side.
Welcome back to This Week in Cincinnati. This week we are taking a look at the Hamilton County Commission race. With us today, incumbent Republican Commissioner Chris Monzel and WCPO reporter Paula Christian. Thank you again for being here. Let's talk a little bit about SORTA and the Metro bus service within Hamilton County. They were looking for an earnings tax. There's a huge deficit that is looming when it comes to the bus service and operations costs over the next decade. What is a plan if the county's having deficit issues and tax issues and trying to convince taxpayers to come forward and start paying for more? How do you fix a Metro bus service in Hamilton County that doesn't even serve its people that well?
So there's a lot of issues just within
right.
that
I
question.
know there's an onion. There's an onion
because first you got to peel it back and really look at it from a standpoint of we have to solve our county financial problem in regards to how we're operating county government first. The SORTA situation has to be addressed, but I think it has to be addressed in a totally different way.
Okay.
You know, we have a mass transit system here in Hamilton County that's from the 19th century. I mean, it's the 1800s that we're looking at how they've set this up. And we really need to come into the 21st century and how we can use technology to really look at a better way of moving people from point A to point B and not doing this hub spoke where you have to take a bus from, up by Tri-County Mall to go downtown to come back out. To me, that's just is
a 15-minute drive turns into 2 hours in a day.
Completely inefficient and ineffective.
Right.
And then when you're seeing the buses, half of them are either empty or they're breaking down. To me, there's a big problem there. And the question is, can we take what we have money-wise already and really just take a blank sheet of paper and redraw this and make it work on something totally different? And I know some other cities have been looking at different ideas. I know out in San Francisco, they're looking at this chariot system, which is similar to a public bus system, but more run like Uber.
Okay.
I know there was one town up in Canada that actually used Uber instead of a bus system. They basically gave everybody vouchers for their citizens to be able to use Uber drivers. So can we use technology to be able to really change the games to get folks really what they want from a public transport system, not use what we've been having here since the 1800s?
So we're talking about the budget and how tight the budget is. So this year you were supposed to start your payments to the Bengals, the $2.67 million that you get to pay them every year, and you couldn't afford to do it. And you're delaying it until next year. So, and at the same time, you're negotiating with the Bengals over the placement of the concert venue. What would you like to see the outcome of this negotiation be with the Bengals?
So, unfortunately, we're dealing with a lease with the Bengals that was there before I came in. So this is something that's, over 20 years ago that now we're still feeling the effects of. That's unfortunate. As part of that lease were these out-year payments, which Paul, you just brought up about we have to pay them for game day operations, which this year would have been roughly $2.5 million-ish, which is very frustrating. I mean, when you see people complaining about taxes out there, and here we're paying a sales tax for these stadiums, and now we're turning around to pay them for playing in the stadium it's really bad. And what we need to do, if I could, is really look at how we get a fairer term on this lease and try to come up with ways to work with the Bengals. And we have been trying to work with them. When the GE building came in, we worked with them in regards to allowing the height restriction to be lifted so we could build the building, as well as they got some improvements from it, from the scoreboard and their locker room. Can we work with them on that and come up with a way that could be a win-win here in regards to the music venue? And I think we will. I definitely think the Bengals ownership has seen the value of that and seeing what's happening down on the Bangs. And just with that music venue, the opportunities of green tailgating, which is typical at some college universities you see right now, where you have tents lined up and you have free concerts. I mean, that's going to be a fan experience, and I think that's what they really want. The Bengals really want their fans to have this great experience, and tailgating is the key to that. Well, we're offering an opportunity here with this music venue to have just something that could be transformational in regards to how they do tailgating down there, which will attract more fans and give them a great experience on game day.
But to get their yes, for this, you might have to build them a new domed practice facility.
Well, I'm really hoping that is not in the equation with regards to the negotiation, but we do have to work with them on that in terms of what the lease is, because there is certain requirements in the lease that we have to uphold, and working with them, and they're open to it. We're having conversations with them. We're trying to come up with a solution here, hopefully in the next month or so. But we're still moving forward on music venue. We're planning that, and that's going forward, which is going to be a huge asset to the bank's development. But you're right, it is something that's going to deal with some type of negotiation with the Bagels organization, and I think with what we've seen from a movement with them in the last few years, they're actually trying to work with us, which is a good thing.
Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about the opioid issue, some infrastructure issues, which I guess might come right back to the budget discussion as well. We're going to continue our conversation here with Chris Monzel right after the break.